How can YouTube change your life in 6 months? It's because of one very important thing, which I call time, trust, leverage. Let's draw. So we have a line here, and we have time on this side and trust over here. So the more time you put in, the more trust you build. And then the line will eventually go like this. But the time is not just the time you put in, it's more so the watch time. For instance, the average view duration on this video. I'm not sure how long this video will be. Maybe it's only 5 minutes. But let's assume for now that it is 20 minutes. And we call that then a YouTube long form. And then on the other side, we have a short. An Instagram reel, YouTube short, TikTok, whatever. Let's say that is 30 seconds. And let's say that one goes viral and gets 1 million views. And let's say the long form also blows up, but only gets 100,000 views. Now before we continue, I'm curious, which one do you think is more effective to create, more effective to spend your time on? Now you probably answer the long form, but here comes the problem. Very few are doing this. It's because this one is easier to create and people love high views. But what is the truth? Let's say that for that short, everyone watches it until the end. So it gets 100% watch time. Then 30 seconds, 1 million views, leaves us with 133 hours of watch time. Now let's look at the long form. 100,000 people watch it. Let's say until the end for now, even though that's not the case for long form. Perhaps it's only 20%, but let's make that assumption for now. And they watch it for 20 minutes. That leaves us with a little bit over 33,000 hours of watch time, which is 4 times as much, almost. So then here comes the point, because it's not just about the amount of watch time. There's also a clear difference in the quality of watch time, more so the quality of the people that watch longer videos. We all know the people that watch a lot of short form. And if you look at it from a perspective of what is the truth, well, just look at your own experience. What type of people read books for 30 minutes, an hour a day or a week, or watch podcast videos versus the ones that watch a lot of short form? I'm not instantly saying this is better, because those who watch those very short form videos have different buying behavior. And if you tend to sell products that those type of people buy, for instance, the well-known fidget spinners, then it makes sense to focus on this area. But for most people, this type of video is more effective to focus on because they build more trust. If they do the right things, of course. And here comes the point, that increased trust leads to a higher conversion percentage. Whatever the thing is you offer, perhaps it's only a free thing, or perhaps it's a very expensive product. Whereas with this one, the conversion rate is usually much lower because there's less trust. Combine that with the type of person that watches short form, even though people also watch both, it is less effective if you're optimizing to make money. That's not the case, and you create art or just like to make videos. Well, just do whatever you want. But I'm confident 99% of you are interested in this. So if you spend more time with a person and you do the right things, they trust you more. And this is exactly the reason why YouTube is so powerful. If you compare that to all the other platforms, Snapchat, TikTok, Facebook, Instagram. I know many people love Instagram to use it and to post on it because it's just very easy to create, or much easier than long form videos. But I care about the truth and effectiveness, alright? And if we're optimizing for money, then that means we want to make the most money in the shortest amount of time. This is why, for instance, Dan Go focuses a lot on YouTube. He mentioned roughly 40% of his revenue, total revenue, comes from YouTube alone. And most of the other platforms only give him 5% of his revenue. He's not the only one who mentions such a high leverage of YouTube. So by creating more long form videos on YouTube, your life can change in 6 months. That's not the only thing. Even though AdSense is good on YouTube, it's the best in comparison to all the other platforms, which is another big advantage on YouTube. As you probably know, most creators tell you it's not the one that makes them the most money. In fact, it's only 5%, sometimes 10% of their total revenue. Of course with outliers, but also outliers on the downside. For instance, one of my channels, where I got a video with over 1 million views, only brought in roughly $900. That's 1 million views on it wasn't that long, it was only a 4.5 minute video. But you get the point, 1 million videos and only $900. That's not something you can live from. So then Jordan, what's next? How will my life change in 6 months? from making long form videos? Well, here comes the fun part. You want to launch your product, or better said, you want to launch your waitlist so eventually you can launch your product. Even better said, the right product at the right time to the right people. Now, if you've heard Alex Hormozi, you know that he has said, sometimes very briefly, the concept of goodwill. And that you should give away all your stuff for free and eventually sell in private so people come to you, whatever you have to offer, and then you can make some money. I care about the truth, and is that effective? Well, this is Alex, and it has worked for him quite well, as you can tell. But he already had over 50 million when he started to create content, especially on the business side. So I make this point because this is an honest question to ask yourself. Are you in a spot where you don't need money for at least a few years? Right? Perhaps you have a job, perhaps you don't. Do you need to make money from making content, creating online? More so because everyone wants to make money. Do you need it on the short term? For Alex, that wasn't the case. He had money and his goal is 1 billion. So for him, it makes sense to focus on goodwill. Additionally, very important distinction here, he's not selling products you are likely to sell, I assume. Because what is his main product, or was his main product? It was investing in your company, which is very low in quantity in order for him to make a lot of money, because he only needs to invest in one company to make a lot of money if he does the right thing. Combine that with he already had a lot of money. There's no pressure, or much less. It's a very important distinction because I held the belief that I should listen to Alex Hormozi when it comes to goodwill and not sell any product. So eventually people come to me knocking on the door and buy my product. Or I don't have one, so then they ask me for coaching, private calls, you name it. Asking for help in exchange for some money. Now this happened to me on a small scale, but the people who did so were of low quality. That sounds a bit strange, people of low quality. So let me rephrase it. They didn't have a lot of money. Even more so, they had no intent, which is a term you may never heard of and which is not spoken about much. But if someone buys your product at the lowest price possible, 1 cent, versus someone who gets it for free, who has higher intent, well, obviously this person, because he has already shown to be willing to pay at least 1 cent. So that one has higher buying intent, which is very important. Because if you ask yourself, how can my life change in 6 months? I'm not sure what amount you want to make or need to make. Whether it's 10,000 per month in profit, or 100,000 from a launch, or above 1 million to retire. These are absolutely possible. The question is, are you going to wait for a very long time? Can you wait for a very long time before you start to sell? I leave that question up to you. For most people, it is not the case. And it's much smarter, much more effective to launch a waitlist. So you decide the right product to build, to launch, to sell on the right time to the right person. So you actually make profit, which you can use, of course, to improve your product, perhaps by hiring people, but also the intangible stuff. Because if you make profit, you're much more likely to be happy, which has a big impact, very, very big impact on anything you do in life. Don't believe me? Just look at it. When you feel better, you create better work. And you don't need a wait list, but it is effective because it lets you know before you build anything, or very little, because you don't have to do much for it in order to launch a web page where you can subscribe to your wait list. But it lets you know which product to actually spend your time on by either the quantity of people who subscribe to that wait list or by measuring the quality of the people that subscribe. And this has to be star. I know I can't draw that well. Because 10 people who are very likely to buy your product versus 100 people where only 5% are likely to buy your product gives you all the understanding you need in order to know which product to focus on and to lead by example. And so you can understand how this process looks like, at least the front end. I'm actually working on a workshop right now where I exactly show you how to launch your waitlist from A to Z, beginner friendly, but also for advanced people, on how to launch your waitlist and your first product, how to decide which product, how to measure the quantity and quality of people with free tools, including plug and play design systems, because I would say I'm very good at designing and I love doing it, but I know most people can't design or don't want to learn it, I should say. So those will be included, free assets that you can just plug and play and you know that will sell, convert people because they just look good and they're conversion optimized, which will then allow you to make money with only 100 followers. Just enter your email in the link below to get access when it's ready. People that have already gotten a sneak peek of the workshop keep telling me that I should at least charge $500 for it. But I won't, because I want to show you how effective the truths are that I found, so that a lot of people, including you, can see that it works. That it actually works for you. That you can make money from YouTube as soon as possible with only 100 followers. So that you trust me that it works. Which of course builds goodwill. And even though Alex Hormozi says you should give everything away for free, I've already explained to who, most people, and why that is likely not effective for you. Because yes, I can charge $500, $1,000, $200, but less people will then buy it. Likely. You could say those are higher quality people because they're willing to pay more. But if the value in the eye of the beholder is only $500 and you pay $200, then you could say, to be very simple here, there's only $300 goodwill. Now this is all very intangible, especially if it's not directly related to money, which is almost always the case. So what makes more sense to me is to not do that. Instead, sell it for $1, have a goodwill of $499 or more or less. But I now have a high quality person that may reach out to me, or I may reach out to them for one-on-one work, calls, physical, or any other product. Could be other products of $1, could be other products of $100, or any price point. But I always care about a higher goodwill versus a smaller one. It just doesn't make sense, because if you focus on the smaller one, and there's only a goodwill of $100, versus here there's a goodwill of $1,000. This may make you money in the short term, but not as much as this, because in here you probably sell something for more expensive. Focusing on this, make sure they actually want to buy something from you again. And if you do that with everything you sell, focusing on the high difference between what you give versus what you ask, get. Because goodwill is basically, by the way, a give to ask ratio. If you do that with everything, you make sure that ratio is as high as possible. You give way more than that you ask. Well, then there's a lot of second order, third order consequences from that, right? You get positive reviews. People talk about you behind your back in a positive way. You get referrals, blah, blah, blah. You know all the things. But giving everything away for free versus charging only 1 cent, but let's say $1. This 1% showed intent. Most of them are willing to buy something from you in the future again, if you made sure that that give-it-ask ratio is very high, and of course other aspects as well. The people should actually know that that is the case by actually doing the things, or reading the stuff, or watching the things, and feeling that as well. Just a topic for a whole other video, and something that I actually talk about in the workshop. Just enter in your email below and you get to know when it's ready. But may you start focusing on this in combination with long form videos, which increase trust more than short form. And more people are likely to sign up for that waitlist. Let's say you have very little time, or you believe you have, and you only make 4 videos per month, and you all lead them to different waitlists for different products that are not built yet or in progress. Then you can start to measure and find out exactly which product is best to focus on, and how you can start making money, even as little as 100 followers. But there are people out there that I've found that only have 500 subscribers who are making over $30,000 a month in profit. I do a lot of research, I use a lot of free tools, also some paid ones, especially free ones. By the way, I have a link below to the free tools that I use, which is a Google Sheet of over 70 tools, all unaffiliated, unsponsored, because again, I care about trust. And those affiliate links or sponsors, well, can you really trust me if I make money from the links or from some tools? Because then of course I can't mention competitors. So that's why I focused on making sure none of that is in there. And they are actually tools that I use myself, either daily, weekly, monthly. Some of them I don't use, but I have used a lot in the past. And again, it's completely free. You will have instant access if you go to the link below and enter your email. Because yes, you can still give stuff away for free. It has to be good. It has to be things at least that people want. Why? Because why would you bother making it? You don't have to make a waitlist for that. You can though. But since it's zero money, you can probably just release it, depending on how much time it actually takes to make you. Because if it takes a lot of time to make, you're much more likely to want to have a waitlist. Otherwise, you're probably wasting your time if nobody wants it. And just a side note, it all comes down to experimenting yourself. This is, by the way, A/B testing. But it's not just A/B testing, it's A, B, C, D, E, and so on. It's just testing everything for yourself and finding out. Because don't believe me, it's really something you should avoid. And even in that sentence, there's just so much conviction. Do what you want. But what I have found for myself is that when things are beliefs, they're simply not effective. What is effective is the truth. May you focus on the truth by finding out for yourself. So an important question to ask yourself, because you probably hold a lot of limiting beliefs that are, by the way, definitely not effective. So then a question to ask yourself is, can I get 500 followers, subscribers in 6 months? Because that can change your life. Not because I say so, but because there are creators out there that are making over $30,000 a month in profit from only 500 subscribers. So then if they can do it, why not you? I mean, it's much more likely that you will get more than this and make more money. I would have never thought that I would grow from 0 to 5,000 subscribers on one of my channels in only 7 months, which, if you know YouTube, that's very short. One video got over 1 million views, which I thought would never happen. But I learned a lot from that as well, because this is mostly not something you only want to optimize for if you want to make money. And that's why I made this video. May you start building wait lists like I do in this video. Again, you can sign up for free below, where I show you exactly how to build one, how to design one by just plug and play templates that look very good, so you can build your first product that actually makes money. So this can be sustainable. You can keep making videos and make more money while doing what you like, because again, when this starts to happen, you will be more happy. All doing so while giving more than you ask. And likely, if you're still watching this video, giving way more than you ask. So people start to ask you. And that video that I talked about earlier of 1 million views, and actually many other videos that got over 100,000 views, but especially this one, took me less than 2 hours to create. I didn't edit the video, or to be honest, I only removed the silences from the video, which prove me that you don't have to edit your videos to go viral. Now, is that important? No, but it can make you more money if you do the right things. But it is possible, which means you don't have to hire a video editor or edit yourself, which takes a lot of time, which most people don't have or are not willing to spend on, especially on videos that are YouTube long form, which are over 20 minutes long or 5 minutes long even. You get the point. The longer the better. That's why Alex Ramosi even has videos right now of 3 hours long, 4 hours long. I mean, learn from the best, I should say. I actually studied 15 channels who went viral this year with unedited videos, even without thumbnails. And I found 5 truths why they went viral, how they did it with unedited videos. Watch this video to learn them.